Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up.
The line's wrapped around the stadium.
Different strengths. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
A lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to.
He look crazy, Bill. Good feet on the old man.
Definitely come back.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome into a Monday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live here on this Monday morning. Appreciate you starting your week here with us. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button, as we've got some stuff to get to. Over the next 2 hours, we're going to talk to Kim Mulkey. The Queen will be here at 8 a.m. talking about the latest win for the Tigers and breaking that attendance record that he initially set a couple of weeks back in the Tennessee game. Mulkey and the crew yesterday had a sellout crowd of 15,721, which is the most since the Maravich Center has been reconfigured. That is one of the biggest crowds of all time in there. In fact, Scott Rabelais brought it up yesterday in a tweet saying that the record for the PMAC was 15,694 for a men's game back at 1981 versus Ole Miss yesterday, with the attendance of 15,721. It is the PMAC record for any game, any sport, any time, breaking the record. So what Kim Mulkey has done and has built in the first 2 years of her being on campus, I think exceeds everybody's expectation, right? I mean, for as much, and look, she had no higher expectation than this show. I mean, we are fans of hers. We believe in her. We knew that she was going to bring a winner instantly, and I could not have imagined that they would have only lost one game in their second season and be setting attendance records and breaking attendance records kind of, throughout the regular season. It's amazing to see what is going on with LSU women's basketball. I can't wait to talk to her at 8 o'clock this morning to get her thoughts on it. She had an enormous visitor in town, literally, this weekend. We'll talk all about that. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button. Go Chevrolet drives us each and every day. Check out the crew online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. If you're looking for a brand new truck, stop in and see them. And our phone line, Metropolitan Health Group, Real Doctors, Real Solutions, Charlie Harvey, and Jason Ramazan, each and every day with our phone line being there. Will Wade's name starting to pop up around college basketball. Cody Boudreaux with the $5 super chat. We'll talk about that. But the Carpool Queen is here.
Good morning.
With the winning Knights squad, who is off to Southeastern as they are traveling for the quarterfinals.
We are Tuesday. We practice at LSU this afternoon and then head to Southeastern tomorrow. They're checking out of school. 8 o'clock tip-off, though. That's a late one.
8 o'clock tips.
Fighting for the quarters, though. We're very excited.
Who we fighting?
Newman.
Ooh. Wow.
No. Menard. I'm sorry, not Newman.
Okay.
We might play Newman in the finals. Menard. What's it? That Holy Cross Menard?
Is that
it's
Lloyd's?
Lloyd's School, I
Is
think.
that
Holy
right?
Savior. I think it's Holy Savior Menard.
Holy Savior Menard. Something
wow.
holy. Holy Christ, Holy Cross,
Lloyd.
Holy Savior Menard.
Sheesh.
We lost to Newman last year in the same route, and I'm sure they'll end up in the finals too. So that's why I got Newman on the brain.
Okay, wow. Don't think ahead, kid.
I know.
We got to win.
Help
We
it,
got to
though.
get there. We got to get
Newman's
there
always
first.
up there,
We
you
gotta
know?
get there first.
Always beating everybody.
All right, so Stewie is here. Carpool Queen is here. Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button. As we mentioned last night, LSU women's basketball rolls. We'll talk to Kim Mulkey coming up here. But LSU baseball yesterday really flexed. 16 runs on 23 hits yesterday afternoon to win the sixth and final game of the Round Rock Classic. They beat Sam Houston State 16-4. It came down to run differential, which LSU really dominated. LSU's 12-run victory awarded them the championship, as LSU did fall to Iowa on Saturday as they fell 2-1, but the run differential was the determining factor as LSU improves to 6-1 in the season. Dylan Cruz was named the most valuable player of the entire tournament, and Jay Johnson said about Cruz, and he said this directly after the game yesterday, Dylan Cruz is the best player I've ever coached, and I've had 14 former players play in the major leagues the last 3 years. That tells you how good he is. The talent is easy to see, the way the ball comes off the bat, the plays he makes in center field. What I'm most proud of is the way he continues to develop and be in control of himself when everyone in the park knows he's the best player out there. Cruz yesterday was showing off for LSU baseball. That lineup, the entire lineup, man, that seemed like kind of LSU's most powerful. Braden Joubert, Dylan Cruz, all those guys knocking in runs yesterday, knocking the ball out of the park. Jared Jones, more power. It was just pretty impressive to see that on display yesterday. All those all those hits. LSU going to hang out in Texas for the next couple of days, as they'll be in Austin.
I didn't know that. They're still going?
Tomorrow night.
Okay.
They're playing in Austin. They're playing Texas tomorrow night.
That's a long time to be gone.
It's a long time to be gone. But, that's early mental test for a team like LSU. You want to get this team as this is the type of team you want to take everywhere.
Yeah,
you know what I
for
mean?
sure.
You want to test them very early, because at certain points the game is going to feel very easy for them. You can tell. So you want to make them struggle as much as possible if you're Jay Johnson, because you know how good they are. I think that a test like this, being away from home, sleeping out of your bed, having to travel like this is not ideal. But for a team like this could be very good. This is something that they could look back on in, middle of postseason runs or getting ready for the postseason and say, hey, look, man, it's never going to be as difficult on us as it was early on as far as like the travel goes, because the baseball part looks pretty easy for this group.
Yeah.
Which I know is not going to be the case for the entire year. But, I mean, even at times on Saturday, when they got beat, I mean, they make the game look – they're a seriously talented team.
They
they are truly of all the hype that LSU was coming into the season with, and I was very speculative on hyping up an LSU baseball team before they had ever thrown a pitch, right? Just because of the history of the program, the experience and the success that the program has experienced. To hear people like Mikey Matuk and Jared Mitchell, two just figureheads of the program. Guys that, carry a ton of cachet within LSU baseball's history and program, come out and say before the season even starts that this is the best team that's ever been put together. This could be the best team of all time. They could go wire to wire number one. And those two guys were on maybe the best team put together. Arguably. And to hear all that, you were like, all right, whoa, let's let them, get through the month of February first, right? But, as we close out February and they've played 7 games, I've seen enough. Like, they're truly fun to watch, but like super elite, talented. And I say, take them through the ringer.
So is this a midweek game just at UT this week? This would just be a regular midweek game?
Yes, because the next game is Butler on Friday, I believe. So, yeah.
So they're not coming home. They're just staying in Texas.
They're staying in Texas, absolutely. They'll stay there. Remember Chris Blair was here last Thursday, and he said he's going through the weekend. He's flying out on Monday, and I'll meet him in Austin.
Right, that's right.
So they're going to take a bus from Round Rock, which Round Rock is right outside of Dallas.
I don't know. Is it? I do feel like someone said that last week.
Jay, you're
'Cause
a
I was
Texas
saying Round
native.
Top.
Where's Round
wrong.
Rock, Texas? Do you know where?
Yes, it's near Austin. Like 20
Oh, it's okay.
near
So it's near
Austin.
Austin. It's
Okay.
near Austin. Okay. Okay.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice. Nice. So, so they're right there. They're probably not
Okay.
even changing hotels.
That's true. So that's good. That's
Yeah.
better, I guess.
And I mean, let's not feel too sorry for them.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't
like,
feel sorry for
they're
him.
flying
That's just a
charter.
lot. I know.
Yeah.
They're eating they're eating 5-star meals. They're
Yeah.
staying in 5-star restaurant. I mean, in 5-star hotels. I mean, like
They're fine.
They're traveling like a big league club. I mean, I remember Alex Bregman telling the story about when he was playing for the Corpus Christi Dolphins.
yeah,
I think they
yeah,
were.
yeah,
I think they were
mascot.
something like the Corpus Christi, like Flying Sharks or something. He was like, "Where am I?" You know what I mean? Like, he was like, "I've been in college the last 3 years, and we felt like the Yankees." You know what I mean? Like right now, I feel like an 8th grader. I feel like a high schooler.
They're not at the Hampton Inn making their own waffles.
Yeah, I
in the
mean, like they're
morning.
eating like ham sandwiches on a school bus,
Yeah.
staying in motels. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Meanwhile, LSU's at the Round Rock Ritz Carlton, flying charter with filet mignon being served in the air. So
Right,
I
I
mean,
don't feel
it's
bad for 'em.
right.
They're fine.
I mean, so Tuesday tomorrow at 6:30. But they are fun to watch, man. They
they
are.
are.
They're awesome to watch. I love Skeens. I love
all of
Cruz. I love them all, man. I mean,
Jared
like,
Jones.
Jarrett Jones. I love Neal, the catcher.
Everybody just.
I mean, like they're just fun to watch. I mean, and Jordan Thompson, I feel great for Jordan Thompson. I know that Ryan Terrio is a friend of mine, and he worked a ton with Jordan Thompson in the offseason on his fielding. And Terrio, of course, has magical baseball hands from a standpoint. That's when everybody was over him when he was at Broadmoor, and he was picking plays at shortstop when he was a freshman over there on some of the best teams during that time that were playing as far as just talent went. And of course went on to LSU, started as a freshman, went on to play in the bigs for over a decade and played second and shortstop and had a really good career. But I mean, routinely when I would go over to Traction the past couple of years, whether it be with Little Jay or trying to work out, Ryan Terrio would be in there working one-on-one with all levels of baseball players, from youth to high school players to college players. There would be big leaguers in there, just kind of picking his brain throughout the offseason on how to get better. But I know that Jordan Thompson was an offseason project for Terrio in the sense of Thompson really committed to him in trying to become a better infielder, and it looks as if it has really paid off here early. I don't think that he'll have a perfect season, and by no means is that an easy position to play in baseball. But the way that Jordan Thompson has mentally really fought through and gotten through to where he is, I think is a heck of a success story on a team that's filled with a bunch of superstars, right? I think Thompson might be an easily forgotten guy, but you can't discount just how much he's committed to the game, gotten better, and playing that position. You play shortstop at LSU. I mean that's a position that comes with a little bit of kind of built-in pressure to it. I mean, dating back to like the teams with even Andy Sheets way back in 1991. But you think of some of the guys that have come through and played shortstop: Russ Johnson, Jason Williams, Alex Bregman, Kramer Robertson. I mean, there have been guys that have been headline players for the program that play that position. And Thompson, when you look up, Ryan Terrio, I mean, is a name that's in that class. Thompson is going to look up and be a 3-year starter at that spot. That really improved. So, Corpus Christi Hooks, that was their name. I knew it had something to do with fishing. Stephen Miller, number one we learned was that D1 baseball was not ready to broadcast baseball games. I had so
happened?
much third-hand anxiety for Kendall Rogers in D1 baseball, knowing what it's like to try and jump off the stream diving board and do something first.
Oh, God.
You know what I mean? Where you're
Yeah.
like, y'all want to host a baseball game? Like, that's a great idea for D1 baseball to do. Like, let's host a baseball tournament, stream it,
Put it behind a paywall.
put it behind a paywall,
Yeah.
charge subscriptions, make money. Yeah, I mean, like, just inviting LSU alone, we're going to profit.
Yeah.
Right? And then just to see the struggles.
What happened?
They just weren't prepared. I mean, what do
Yeah.
you mean what happened, Katie? What have you done? We've tried to do this many a time.
I mean,
where
it
we're
was
like,
just.
I mean, it's all hooked up. It should be, but the wheel's spinning. I mean, like, what's the deal? Unplug it and plug it back in, Stewie. Maybe we can get this thing moving again. I mean, when you're talking about a live sporting event, with something like us, you can keep kind of delaying it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we're supposed to start at 1, but we're not starting until 2 again. You know what I mean? We can get the shit
Sorry.
hooked up. I mean, like, when you've got, like, Braden Joubert at bat, you know what I mean? You're like, look, it's live, man. I mean, you're either streaming or you're not. I mean, what's the deal? And to see the struggles that I was just like, oh, God. Dude,
Yeah.
man, I got to change this. I'm going back to the radio.
It was tough.
I just got to go
especially 'cause
listen.
People paid.
Yeah.
So like, what do you do about that?
And they had a good broadcast
Yeah,
team.
yeah, they
Billy
know they
McDonald.
invested. They knew what they had to do. It just technology failed them. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just for as dependable and for as much as we rely on, you know, this. I mean, we do everything off of it, right? I mean, like you watch television, you listen to your podcast, you get your stats, you handle your business. I mean, if the Wi-Fi lets you down, I mean, like,
There's no working around.
we're all jammed up. Everybody's in a bind. And, you know, I mean, look, man, I by no means will I ever. This is a very much a glass house
yeah, we're
industry.
not judging.
Bro,
We're not
I
judging
felt
tech
for
problems.
you, Kendall. Like, I'm telling you, I wish there was some type of thing I could have teleported you to say, make this stream work and just be done with it. Because once the stream lets you down, initially, you're stressed for the rest of the. You can never get right. You can never get to a point where where you look at the producer and you're like, we're good. No, we're not. You know, we weren't streaming 20 minutes ago.
But it sounds like it wasn't bad. Like Hunter Fournette just said, the camera work was a little rough, but he didn't have any technical issues with it. So everybody didn't have issues.
I didn't have really that many issues.
I had them
only
early.
watched Sunday.
Okay.
'Cause,
Maybe different days were different.
I guess. But, I mean, what I saw on Friday.
yeah, but you could also tell like the production wasn't squeaky clean behind it. Like,
Yeah.
which I mean, that's a live production. You gotta,
Yeah.
Got a lot of things moving.
Yeah, a lot of spinning wheels, bro.
Like,
a lot of plates in the
moving
air.
parts.
We know.
A lot of plates in the
know.
air. So,
Oh, and this PCG, I don't know what
Oh,
your name is. I
goodness.
tried to buy the weekend pass, never got through. They lost my money.
yeah, man.
That
I mean,
stinks.
it's just when you're going to say we're charging,
Yeah.
you have to be ready.
That stinks.
You
Yeah.
have to be ready. When you're taking people's money, it's got to be easy.
Exactly.
Because if it's difficult, like, the last listener just said, you lost me. You know what I mean?
That's
Like, I'm
too
not coming
bad.
back.
Yeah. That's too bad.
So, I mean, I know what they were trying to do. And, like, pulling the teams, I mean, like, pulling LSU alone is strong. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big get.
yeah, it is.
But when they pull up, you
gotta
better be ready
Mm-hmm.
because there's 10,000 maniacs behind them that want to keep up with every single breath that all of them are taking throughout the
can't
game.
Can't watch the
that.
baseball game because D1 baseball.
And old
took my
Kendall
money.
Rogers, I didn't subscribe from his site. I can't read his work anymore. I mean, like, I felt for Kendall.
You're
man.
exactly
I
right.
felt for Kendall. I mean, like, the LSU baseball crowd is the crowd I do not want on my
Stay away
ass.
from.
I'll fight the LSU football crowd all day.
Why is it
You know
like
what
that?
I mean? But
David
the
tried
LSU
to
baseball
explain that
crowd,
to me.
I want nothing to do with you.
Because
You
they have-
win.
They have the intimidator, Katie.
But like, why
it's-
are they such a tough crowd? Like
Because-
David argues this with me all the time. He's like, "You don't understand. It's different.
It is
Those
a
are
different-
different fans.
It's a
different
different
type
fan
of
base.
Is it
people.
just
It's a
an
different
older?
fan
Is
base.
it mostly an older fan base?
Yes.
Is that why?
Yeah, I would say that it is. I mean, I think that even like the configurations of the park kind of speak to who LSU baseball is.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Right? Like, I mean, like, if you look around, you know this better than anybody. Duty Noble is built for like entertainment. It's built for
Absolutely.
like to be a home field advantage. LSU baseball's Alec Box Stadium was built kind of to be like a like this grand type of experience. You know what I mean? Where it's almost like you respect the game in there. Where the old box, it was built on just pure mayhem. Like, it was. It was a party. It was rowdy. It was people were sitting on the field because there wasn't enough seats.
Yeah, I didn't know the
for
old box.
Oh man, I mean, the old box was LSU baseball, right? I mean, like, it was what it was built on. I mean,
Would
it
you
was
take the old box over the new box?
10 out of 10 times.
Really?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But
I
the
mean,
new
if
box
you
is
could
so
take
nice.
if you could take the bells and whistles, like like the 2023 perks, which is like the sound system, the video board, stuff like that, and transport it into what the configurations of the old box were, then to me, that's what you're trying to capture. That's what other schools, Ole Miss, like Mike Bianco was here during LSU's heyday of building the box, like the old Alec box. He was the catcher. He was the third base coach. He was the assistant coach. He saw it. He was like, if I ever get a spot, this is what I want. This is a home field advantage. And if you've seen an Ole Miss baseball game,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Beer
Like
on each
it's
other.
Yeah,
it's
he did
as
it.
it's as much of a home field draw as they have on any sport.
It is.
Right? And that's Bianco bringing over the old flair of
Yeah,
the box
I never
of
thought about that.
I mean, there were those are childhood memories for me that are like burned in my head. Being at the like I remember my grandfather would pick us up like from school on Friday, and we would go to a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. And I mean, like, you were there all Friday night. You were there all Saturday. You'd go back, like, you go to church on Sunday. You go to the box after church. And, like, all of your friends, like, that were our age were, like, there and we were just running around the park, right? But, I mean, like, there were moments that were happening kind of in the backdrop of building this storied organization program. I mean, Skip's right over your right shoulder. I mean, that's him. That was all him that was thinking that. And then it was also Skip that was the architect and the brains behind the new box, because he was probably like, man, look what I have built. Look what I have accomplished, right? Where I think it missed the mark on holding that passion, that undying, like, just when you came to LSU, you didn't have to just beat the team. You had to beat the park, right? Like, you had to beat the whole place. Now, when you go to the box, it's so unattached. It's so like you're so detached from it. There's no, you can't, like, you would be on top of people. Like, I mean, like, you would be like, if you were sitting along the right field, left field line, I mean, you were speaking to the player as if he was like, you know what I mean? Like, he was right there next to you. And that was kind of the draw of it. I mean, if you sat
why
behind.
change it so drastically then? Or why not keep a little
Well, I
bit
think,
of that
like I
element?
said, I think they kind of got lost in the sauce. I think they were like, look at all this money that we have. Look who we are. We're LSU baseball. We're essentially Alabama football and Kentucky basketball, right? We're the thing in the state that everybody loves. Let's build it to. Let's build the Rupp Arena. Let's build the Alabama football
makes
facility
sense.
that's $100 million that nobody can relate to. And I think people still come down here and they're in awe. They're like, wow, look at this place. And really, when you get into the guts of it, the locker room, the batting cages, the technology, that's where it's different. That's where it's a separate, the weight room. That's where it's separate. It's separated itself from other college baseball facilities. That's the stuff you and I can't see. We can't go to the game and see that. What we see is the field kind of being like, like 60 yards away from us. The seats are kind of all, you're not really, it's a good experience.
Yeah, sure.
But I think if you're trying to build a home field advantage in baseball, they missed the mark on that.
So most of the diehard fans would want the old box back.
Oh, I think so. I think that's who they are. You know what I mean? Like, nobody knows about 1992. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, all right. We didn't have all this bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it was like,
We didn't need no light show back in 1992.
exactly.
We just played baseball.
Yeah,
and
right.
won.
I mean, it was just
Gorilla Ball. That's all we did.
just a park and a program. I mean, that's who they are. You know what I mean? So that's who their kids are. So I mean, it's not as if it's a dying crowd.
Right.
I mean, it's a very prideful.
They do kick
fan
the
base.
they do kick the students out a lot too. Like, they kind of make it to where it's like not college friendly when it is a college baseball game.
Yeah.
Like, they'll kick you
Well,
out.
like, I mean, like, look at Ole Miss.
Yeah, I've seen that
Like, they
happen.
throw beer in the
The
air
beer
when they home
showers,
run.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's it. Look how good that looks on television.
Yeah.
How fun would that be if you're a student? Like, I'm not missing a
Exactly.
game.
Right.
Like, there's no draw for the students to go to an LSU baseball game.
Yeah, I
Because
guess
it's like
I'm-
Stewie
yeah.
said, there's almost people there that are almost like prohibiting what the students want to do.
Oh, yeah, I've
The
seen
students
them get,
want
I've
to
seen them
use
get
that
removed.
to go get drunk on a Sunday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they want to go yell at other teams' players in the outfield.
Yeah.
I've done it before.
Right.
I
But
sat-
when you've
well,
got
sat behind the dugout.
ushers walking around that are wagging their fingers at you, kind of being like, "Stop that, or you're getting thrown out."
But who spearheaded that? Like, why is it like that?
I don't know.
I don't know that.
It's a no fun zone back there, though.
It is. I know.
Like-
It's curious.
They better not catch you having fun. Because they'll kick you out.
Yeah, it's entertaining to watch them remove people. I will say that.
That's lame to me.
I think they still have the old box's home plate put in place, like it's still sitting there, because it would essentially be where
Nicholson
that
is, right?
you go over the tracks. Like if I'm leaving LSU football facility and I take a right and I go over the tracks, it would be there on the left where that new, I think that's the TAF building.
Mm-hmm.
That building that has, it's just like kind of sitting there with and it's got the big parking lot, and then it's it's the new student housing.
Like Mathern's and all that. is right
Mathern's,
there.
all that stuff. And home plate would have kind of been like in the black top of the parking lot, kind of. And I want to say that it was still there for a while. With all that construction, I don't know if they were able to keep
They
it.
probably
That's
like
cool,
took it
though.
out, put it somewhere.
But it would be on the corner of, that would be Nicholson and Skip Burtman Drive,
Uh-huh.
right?
So
It sat 3,500. It sat 4,000 people. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it wasn't. But that was the beauty of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like you would have people were. I mean, for big games, they were putting people like literally. They were putting them on the foul line.
That's fun,
Could you
though.
imagine?
No.
Like putting a paid fan that could catch a foul ball off of Todd Walker's bat to the face. Like,
Yeah, that's
but just to
wild.
get them
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Like that's the mentality of the place. Like now, if you were like, y'all have to sit on the foul line, you'd be like, "Ha! If I'm not sitting in that suite, I'm not going."
Exactly.
You know, like
How many does it seat now? Ballpark. Does
10?
anybody know? Okay.
that's a guess.
Yeah. Well, I saw it like
That's
a
a
chart
guess.
the other day about all the college stadiums.
That's a
I think
guess.
you're right. I think it was around 10.
think it's 10.
Somebody in here knows for sure, but yeah.
Yeah.
10,326.
There you go.
I mean, like really, I'd take some of those out
You gonna do what?
and move them closer to the field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
It
I
needs to
would,
be
I
like-
would. There needs to be a section that people can go act like
There needs
wild.
to be a left field lounge.
Yeah.
Because like even like
I think the box had the Diamond Grill Lounge, the old
Yeah.
box. You know what I mean?
I remember
Like,
hearing of that.
and then they had like, I want to make sure I say this right. They had Kuntz Corner. You know, like they had like all these like.
What's that?
It was like I don't know, it was like a family. His kid played at LSU though, but like it was like rowdy. You know what I mean? Like, it was wild. Like you looked up there and like they were always partying and like
Yeah.
smoking cigars and you know what I mean? It was just like this little personality of the box. You know, when I go into the new box, and I haven't been a lot, you know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
when I do go, I have to be honest. I'm only going to sit in the suite.
Same. That's the only place I've ever
know what I
sat in
mean?
the box.
I mean, because that was my first experience in it. And I was like, well, I'm not going back
Me
down there.
too.
You know what I mean? Like,
can't go down there with those common
I'll be either
people.
sitting with Charles Harvey. I'm going home. You know, like I mean, that's all I can really do. But there's no real draw. There's no real pull.
Yeah.
Because like
but
don't
other
you,
than this team.
cause like don't
But
you
I
feel
mean, like when you put the number one team in the country out there, and you're throwing schemes on a Friday night,
Well, yeah,
and
that's the
Dylan
draw.
Cruz is hitting leadoff for you. I don't care if you play this thing at Goldsby Field. I'm in.
coming.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I want to watch.
But don't you feel like football like it's still a little bit like on top of the field? Even like baseball is far back. Like you could be sitting front row and still be 60, 70 feet away from the field. But football is like I'm sitting far away, but I'm still close.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like-
Right. Well, I mean, football's such a physical. I can hear it.
Yeah.
Right.
I can hear the pop. I can hear them calling the signals. I can, you know what I mean? If I'm sitting within the first 30 rows of a football game, I'm in it. I'm in it. You know what I mean? Like baseball, it's just, you know, Skeens and Cruz. I need, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
I
need
need
to be
100
up.
miles an hour and home runs.
Right. I need to be
I
up
mean,
close
I
to
can't
this.
deal with 1-0 bunting, you know, and moving runners over. And I know that there's people that love that, but I mean, I don't know, man. Tom Granning, good to hear from Tommy. He says, I agree, no sense in bleacher seating along the lines. Andrew Messina, there should be chair backs in every section at the box. I don't think you can do that.
It'd be nice, though.
It would be nice. Those bleachers are kind of tough for 9 innings.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Jack Ballard, it's like that because there are families and kids in the right field with the students. I agree. I like that, but that's planning. That's planning. Like that's saying, if you remember when they moved the student section in the Maravich Center, like that has to, it's just a conversation you have to have. I mean, it's saying, look, when we originally planned this is what we wanted and what we had a vision for. Since it's been playing out over the last so many years, we've decided that this isn't the best way to do this. We want to put the students in one section and get them away from the families, the kids, all of that experience. We're going to move all of them over here. Well, they're going to freak out for moving their tickets. Well, then have them freak out.
Right.
I mean, you know what I mean? Your LSU baseball, you've been selling this thing out for 25 years. If 8% of the ticket holders get pissed off because you're moving some of them around to make their experience better, well, then tell the dude on the list, the family on the list, you're up. They gave up their tickets. You still want yours? Yeah. All right. Well, you're being moved to left field rather than right field. Who cares? I'm in. All right. Sweet. Here. Send your credit card number. I mean, that's what it's going to take to, we're going to piss off the old. You know what I mean? Like, you're never going to keep them all happy, man. But I mean, what's the alternative to keeping the place comparable to a morgue? I mean, the Alec Box Stadium experience as far as the home field advantage is just not what it was. It's a great place. It's a beautiful venue. It's comfortable. It's got all the amenities. It's got everything that you could ask for. But in the world of just trying to create a home field advantage, I think you can do both. I think you can make it.
Yeah, you can.
You can make it, up to speed and up to date while also making it intimidating. I don't know why I went off for it. Daily, we're brought to you by Katie's Restaurant. Remember Katie's Restaurant down in New Orleans? I was down in New Orleans yesterday for a beautiful Sunday. We ended up eating down there, just kind of walking around. But Katie's Restaurant, remember down there in the neighborhood on Iberville Street. You can find them there in Mid-City. You can shop them online, katiesinmidcity.com. katiesinmidcity.com is where you can find them online. Stop in there. They got cold beer. They got great menu items, including St. Louis-style pizza to choose from over at Katie's. And then their sister restaurant, Francesca's by Katie's, is located in Lakeview. Get in touch with them. You can search all of that on katiesinmidcity.com. Don't forget, we're going to talk to Kim Mulkey coming up here at 8 a.m. this morning. And the Lady Tigers last night closed out their home regular season schedule versus Mississippi State. I didn't know that Mississippi State wore the Stark Vegas. I didn't know that they embraced it like that.
Yeah, it's huge. Are you kidding?
Oh,
I mean, on the uniform.
Yeah, they embrace
I thought it was just like a fan type deal. I didn't know the
it's
school.
everywhere.
Wait, baseball wears Stark Vegas uniforms?
We're talking about basketball.
No, and this is
Yeah.
women's basketball.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to discount by any means, but like would the baseball team wear Stark Vegas? Would the football team?
I think they
mean,
would.
Have they?
Maybe.
Okay.
Adidas is doing weird uniform stuff for
They
them
do.
lately.
They
I don't
do.
know if you
They
saw
do.
the men's unis when we beat Texas A&M the other day.
Oh, wow.
But they had a weird, a floral thing, and they're doing
Well,
some cool stuff.
Mississippi State's one of their biggest schools, so they
yeah,
have to.
yeah. But
they gotta
they're
throw the
and I
thing
saw
at
it
'em.
on Adidas's Instagram. I don't know what they're really stepping it up.
They got to throw that thing at them.
They got to. Yeah, yeah. Start Vegas is huge. I mean, that was in the that was on the court at one time too.
Wow.
Just like Hell State is. Yeah.
Okay.
Hail
Okay.
State,
Okay. I'm
baby.
sorry.
You don't have to be sorry.
So LSU women's basketball, they win on Sunday, close out the regular season. They're going to be the 2 seed in the SEC tournament. They got the ever attractive double round bye in the conference tournament, so they'll play on Friday first. They're closing out the regular season schedule coming up this weekend. We're going to talk to Mulkey about it coming up at 8 a.m. A rough weekend for the men's team in Oxford. This was perfectly set up, I thought, for LSU to get on a little winning streak here. But they ended up falling to Ole Miss. Ole Miss is now being led by assistant coach Wynn Case is the guy's name.
What a name, right?
Who took
For a
over
coach?
for Kermit Davis, who was fired on Friday. So you thought LSU was kind of sitting in a good spot where, Ole Miss is dealing with some adversity. They got some stuff going on within the program. So hopefully they can swoop in there and pick up a back-to-back win. But LSU just putrid again from the field, 22% from the three-point line.
That was a tough game to watch.
Never had what felt like a real chance as Ole Miss just controlled that game the entire way. 82-69 ended up being the final score. KJ Williams played pretty good as he was had 29 for his effort, as 7 of 8 from the free throw line. But he followed up that 35-point game from Vanderbilt with another, really, I thought, strong performance. But outside of KJ, man, just not a lot of positive to take away from LSU basketball. And, it's going to be a pretty soul-searching first offseason for McMahon and the program, because in the sense of where I think we all envisioned and thought there was going to be a period of struggle, right? Or at least a little bit of adversity where they were going to try and see if they couldn't catch their footing with a bunch of new players in a new program and a new system. But at some point they were going to become, competitive in the sense of, week in, night out, being able to win. You look at the roster, and this is the concerning part for me in the offseason, right? And I know that the transfer portal has totally changed the way that college sports is run from a roster management standpoint. And specifically in basketball, it can help you really quickly because, you don't need as many guys as you do in football and even baseball. But in basketball, if you get 1 or 2 players, quality players out of the transfer portal, then you should believe with at least what you have existing or with what you have coming in, you should be able to put together a pretty good mix. I don't know what their targets are in the transfer portal. We don't really know what the selection in the transfer portal looks like for college basketball because, obviously the season is still here in pretty much full swing and aiming towards conference and postseason tournaments. But you're losing KJ Williams, who is the program's best player, top player right now. You wonder what the status of a lot of these guys is going to be after the first year of really struggling. I know that McMahon was selling a message to all of these guys as if, look, it's going to be kind of it's going to be a little bit of a weird deal because it's something that you can't really measure anything against because it's really brand new. This is a totally new roster that's been put together by a new way of recruiting in college sports. So I thought this LSU basketball team was really going to be kind of an experiment, not only for the program, but really for the model of how the sport really operates. And, I don't know how you couldn't deem it anything other than, just a massive failure, right? And I think the record obviously shows that it's a tough season, and I don't think that I'm judging everything off of just the record. What you're hoping and looking to see is signs of improvement and players coming in, right? I mean, I think when you look at guys like Tyrell Ward, who's a young player who has some signs of life, that shows that he could be a tough matchup down the line. You wonder where his head is going in to the offseason. Some other players that could have an opportunity to come back and help the team. Guys like Sean Phillips, who's a 7-footer. We mentioned Tyrell Ward, who's a youngster. Jalen Reed is another youngster who played 21 minutes the other day, who seems like he could be somebody that is a tough matchup. Down the line. You wonder if where their headspace is coming back, or will they with the opportunity of the transfer portal for another year. And then when you look down the line of recruiting, and again, I know that this is not the time where we're judging recruiting grades and who's coming in, but I mean, it doesn't look as if there's a lot of help to get LSU from where they are right now. 13-16 overall and 2-14 in the league. I mean, I know they have players coming in, but they need game-changing players to come into the program at this point. I mean, the more you look at the slide of where they're going, the deeper they are falling into the abyss of irrelevancy, really, in the league. And I really think for every year that you're down, it's a 3-year climb to get out, right? I mean, think about where LSU was when Will Wade took over the job, right? I mean, they were coming off of a period that wasn't as brutal as Johnny Jones is, catches the flack for years later when we think about his program. Were his teams well coached? No, they were not. They were not. Jones was not a good X and O on the floor coach, but he had talent out there. He had guys that were going on to play professional basketball, whether it was in the NBA or guys that are playing internationally, still like Jarrell Martin, who are still out there and making an impact. I mean, he had guys that could play. This go round of struggles, or at least what looks like the beginning of a time of struggle for LSU basketball, the talent seems to be the overriding issue, where they've got a couple of bright spots, as we mentioned, guys like Ward and Reed, and even Phillips is a youngster that I think you can look down the line and see some potential in. But where are the guys on paper that are showing up next? As I said, you can't judge the transfer portal, so maybe they can work some miracles in the portal once that thing opens up and you see some names that start to enter there. But when you look at the programs around the league, Tennessee, Auburn's not going to be down for a while. Alabama, for as bad as that moment was for them, and we'll talk more about that coming up here before we get out of here at 9 a.m. for Brandon Miller and what he did for the pregame, and that was disgusting. They're still a top 3 program in the country right now, no matter how bad the PR is. But, Florida, Kentucky, Missouri's on the rise, Arkansas's getting better, Texas A&M's improving. I mean, there are programs all around you that are – Mississippi State looks like they found their guy. Ole Miss is now back in the mix where, names like Chris Beard and Will Wade is popping up. Whether or not – I do not believe that Will Wade is going to get the Ole Miss job. I don't think that the timing is going to allow that. I don't think that the NCAA is going to rule in enough time where Ole Miss has got the information that they need to make the hire. But if anything, you should now understand that his name is going to be kicked around in every job that opens up from here until he gets another one, which is going to be as soon as he's cleared, which is going to happen by the NCAA at some point. They're just not going to do him any favors as far as a timeline is concerned, right? I mean, that's what every administration needs to know. What's the future look like if I hire him? Well, it hasn't been ruled on yet. Well, then we can't touch him. But once the NCAA finally slams the gavel on Wade and says that we never found a smoking gun and I guess we'll throw him a year show clause that he's already served since he's been out of the sport for 1 year, you're cleared and ready to go back into the industry. It won't take long before he gets another gig. In fact, so much so that Will Wade has hired Jimmy Sexton as his representation to make sure that his name does not fall out of any openings and vacancies. And like we explained on the Will Wade podcast, which we'll record again today and we'll air and have out for you at some point over the next 24 hours, is that when Will Wade shows up, Will Wade's showing up with players. And you want to know how important players are in college basketball? Look at LSU. That's meant with no disrespect. All of those guys get up every day, work hard, go put shots up, and they're trying to get better and be good players and try and compete in the SEC. And I get it, and I pull for that, and I stand by that, and that's cool to watch. But at the end of it, they can't match up with other teams' best players, better players. And it comes down to it. You got to have players that you can roll out there to get the results that you need from your coaching style and tactics. And I don't know how LSU replenishes. I don't know how LSU restores. I don't know how LSU resets the talent in the program to what they need to compete at a championship level. Because if that's not the goal, if that's not the purpose, then what are we doing? What's the reasoning? Why are we here? It's tough to get over from my standpoint that LSU had a top 4 program in the league year in, year out, dating back to last year. That was their 3rd consecutive year last season of being a top 4 program in the league. That is a mark of consistency. That is a mark of that is not going anywhere. That's a program that is going to continue to put players in the NBA and continue to win at a high level. And just to blow that up over what is going to turn out to be speculation, hearsay, and gossip it's tough, man. It's hard to watch. It's it's depressing. Sucks that you just had that and now it's kapoof. I mean, it's gone. I mean, it feels like that is going to be very difficult to restore in just the setting that you are in right now. So we'll talk more to Kim Mulkey here about LSU women's basketball coming up in a minute. But as far as other basketball stories over the weekend, man, Alabama can not get out of their own way on this Brandon Miller stuff.
I didn't know that was an MMA introduction. Like that's the excuse that they're using.
There's no excuse.
No, I know, but that's what they're saying. They're mimicking an MMA introduction. I mean, So even assuming that's the truth, who in their right mind would allow that to continue? Like it was mind blowing. I told you before the show started, I rewound it like twice, and I was like, they did not just do that. Yes, they did.
I thought when I was seeing it, I thought it was from a game earlier this year.
Yeah.
I thought it was something that, I was like, there's no possible way.
They do pat him down before the fights in MMA.
I know.
They do.
That's
yes.
what they're saying. They're like, that's what MMA does. This is just a thing we've been doing all year.
And
okay,
I even heard,
you don't do it now.
I even heard Nate Oates in the game in his addressment after saying it's something that they've done all season long. Like, hey Nate, yo, bro, somebody needs to teach you some PR 101. Like, don't throw your players under the bus on this thing. Just take autonomy for it. Take responsibility for it. Say it'll never happen again and move on. Even his explanation after the fact of playing Brandon Miller and his comments of what he made where he was saying wrong place, wrong time, and Brandon Miller was, like the comments that he made last week to step in it. When he came out to clear those comments up, he said he had not read the police report. He had not had the information in the report. It's like, Nate, you moron. You're going to make another mistake? You're going to come out here and admit that you did not have the information on your star player of what happened on January 15th that you've had access to? First off, I don't believe you.
No.
Second of all, why in the hell would you admit that in public? Third of all, now you've created more of a storm around us, man. Like, after he said, well, I didn't have the report, but I shouldn't have said what I said. Well, like, nobody remembered anything you said after you said, I hadn't read the report. Because people are thinking, like, you're lying again. And then to have the player come out in the game after he, don't take this the wrong way, But I thought that Brandon Miller coming off the South Carolina game where the entire crowd is chanting at him, lock him up, and he drops 41 to win the game and send it into OT, like he was starting to kind of sway public feeling sentiment back to his side a little bit. A little bit. Like people were like, wow, that was a pretty damn good performance. You know what I mean? By no way discounting the victim and the loss of life that has already happened here, because that's what's clearly being lost sight of by everybody at Alabama. If I was her mother, if I was her family, I would probably storm the floor on Saturday when Brandon Miller did that.
And that woman is so angry, she's not even crying. Like, she hasn't even grieved yet. She's so angry. And, I mean, I was willing to offer the benefit of the doubt before, and I think a lot of people were too, but Alabama has prioritized basketball over discipline, and that kid needs to be on the bench now.
Well, it just... Look, I'm not here to say whether you play him, whether you don't play him, but that was his decision on Saturday to do that. Like Brandon Miller, come on, man. You know the entire college basketball world is staring down your neck. People are hoping and praying that you misstep out there so they can just pounce on you. And you're going to feed into it with that? I'm telling you, Oates missed another great opportunity to, in the moment, say, you're done for the day, man. You're sitting down for the next 40 minutes. Just like after the January 15th police report came out, sitting for 2 games, man. Sitting for the Vanderbilt game, the one that was next on the schedule. Sitting for any game, it does, even if you would have lost. I mean, the fact that you would have said, hey, but Nate Oates decided to sit his best player in the light of the news that's come out to have him serve some consequence for being there. But it's just, this is like watching LSU from a public relations standpoint under F. King Alexander, Joe Oliva, and Les Miles. It was mesmerizing how much they would step in it. It was almost like what not to do in public relations. I mean, a case study under their leadership should be shown to classes that study public relations of this is how you don't do it. This is what happens when you do it like this. The public will totally turn on you, and you'll walk into a basketball game like Oliva did against Vanderbilt where your entire customer base wants your head on a platter. They want to kill you. They want to hang you in the square type stuff. And Alabama seems to be following the blueprint laid out by those 3 idiots. I mean, the PR misstep and stumbles of what they have gotten themselves into, where it was really, from the Alabama program standpoint, you could have avoided it.
But how does Brandon Miller not know how unacceptable his actions are? Like, you can't just keep saying, I didn't mean it that way. Like, that's not flying anymore.
No, it's not.
How's he going to learn? Like, sit him for a few games and let him.
You have to take, what does Brandon Miller love more than anything in life?
Basketball.
Okay,
so sit his ass on the bench for a few games and, let this sink in.
But Nate can't get out of his own way.
Exactly.
Nate can't see that if he just misses 40 minutes of the season,
right,
you're going to be okay, man.
Yes.
One conference game at the end of it, you're the bona fide number 1 overall seed right now. And you could do yourself a little bit of goodwill by putting this out there. Just sit his ass, man.
Why are we saying that, though, and his team
we're
isn't?
We're not the only ones.
I know that, but I'm just saying, this has got to happen. Like, this, they've definitely crossed the line now. They crossed it before, but this is just stupidity. It just is mind-blowing.
I guess it's because they didn't take criminal action against him.
And look,
that's probably why he can't.
Did you see Jay Billis's explanation?
Huh?
Jay Billis explained on Saturday morning on college basketball game day of the rights that Brandon Miller has. Brandon Miller does have all types of rights in the sense of, hey, you just can't take his basketball career away from him because his name is hovering around a criminal investigation. That is illegal, right? Like from a legal now, Alabama might have policies in place of, if you're under investigation, you can't play for us.
Yeah.
I mean, that you clearly understand. Obviously, they do not.
Obviously.
You think
But
Alabama has those rules?
even more boiled down, like to a more microscopic level, the Alabama basketball program could have some rules put in place that says, hey, look, If you're under criminal investigation, here's the deal.
Yeah.
We're going to evaluate it within, but you're going to miss a minimum of X,
Yeah.
right? Because the attention that you're shedding on the program is negative, and we can't deal with that, right? And it also kind of gives you the incentive of, let me stay away from the scene that could turn into a murder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when I'm texted to bring a gun, I may miss time on basketball in this, so I'm just going to say, nah, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it this time. But there's obviously not that in place as well. So Alabama has gotten themselves into a spot now where they are the ones, like, I know more about Alabama's basketball program now than I have ever known.
Same.
And I
Alabama
have
hoops.
had them as public enemy number one over the last 3 years with Will Wade and Nate Oates. I mean, I've wanted to hate them. Now I really hate them.
I know.
Like, it's like, you can't be this dumb.
I know.
You can't be this moronic to think that this cat can go out there and do a pregame celebration where he's patted down, and then as the head coach, you get in front of the microphone and say that I didn't have all the information before I made my comments yesterday. You didn't? Like, well, then whose job was that? Because fire them. Because you look like a moron when you took the microphone. There needs to be somebody that says, yo, Nate, look, here's the deal, man. There was a police report done on February 2nd that Brandon Miller admitted that he brought the gun to the scene. Like, we've been knowing that. All of us have been knowing that. So don't go out there and like, say, I didn't know. You know, like, you got to politically correctly say, we've known, we knew in-house, we're going to handle this within, and we're moving on. But they can't. It's Joe Oliva explaining on why Les Miles has to come back after the Texas A&M game when he floated into the public that he was firing him. And then his boss, F. King Alexander, had to come down there, threaten his life, get the governor on the phone, and they had to have an impromptu press conference in the guts of Tiger Stadium claiming that everybody was wrong and Miles is the hero now. I mean, it was just public relations debacle.
Carried him off the field.
Carried him off the field.
Beautiful.
Shaquille O'Neal saying, you can't do this to... I mean, it was... It was, it was unreal. It was
Shaq, I
unreal,
need you to go on
dude.
TV and say
It
we
was
can't do this to
unreal.
Les.
Shaq, the biggest donor and alumni in the history of the school, out there bashing internal decisions being made by the athletic department. On national television, on campus, on the football field, while Les is standing 30 feet away coaching the game. Speaking of coaches, Kim Mulkey, she is got the Lady Tigers right now, the number 2 seed in the conference, and they are a top 3 program. They sold the place out yesterday. They broke their own record. We're going to talk to her next here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them. JohnsonSpillers.com.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha, Malik Neighbors,
Miles Frazier,
Kyra Lacey,
Greg Brooks. Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team. Make a difference. Bet. Let's get it done.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Here you go.
Thanks.
And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college, for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. Fourier Insurance Agency, established in 1946, locally can help you with any of your home, auto, commercial, contractors, life and health insurance today. Give them a call, 225-383-0682, or log online to FourierAgency.com. All right, good stuff yesterday in the Maravich Center as another record falls under this LSU women's basketball program, as yesterday it was the latest as they broke their own record, actually. They had set the attendance record in the new configured Maravich Center earlier this year, but now they own it just outright. Scott Rabelais had to tweet it out yesterday, but Sunday's 15,721 people in attendance yesterday is a PMAC record for any game, any sport, breaking the 15,694 that stood since 1981 when Ole Miss was in town, taking on the basketball team on a Saturday afternoon. Kim Mulkey is in her second season. She has LSU, the number 2 seed in the SEC. She's got the number 1 recruiting class in the country coming in, and her Lady Tigers closed out the regular season home schedule yesterday with a win over Mississippi State. She's here to talk about it with us here on this Monday morning as we throw the rose petals at the feet of the Queen as she walks in here to the show this morning. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. Good morning to y'all, and we're almost into March, aren't we? And that's the best time of year, March Madness.
Unbelievable. You had your senior class recognized yesterday in front of a record attendance crowd. Tell me what that group means to you.
Well, I get emotional when I talk about seniors because the hardest thing to tell young people when they are freshmen and you're coaching them is that I know you think it's way far away before you'll ever become a senior. And I tell them these are the most enjoyable years of your life in college. and it goes by so fast. And then when they become seniors, you look at them and you tell them the saddest day of your life is when you hang that jersey in that locker for the last time and you walk away. I said, some of you will play pro ball, but it still will be the saddest day. Now, we fortunately get to play 2 more games in the PMAC with the NCAA tournament, but it just was emotional. And of course, my connection with Alexis Mars from the time she was in the 7th grade and the things that young lady has been through and fought through. And then Jasmine and LaDasia and Emily. Of course, Emily will go down in the record books as the all-time favorite kid in LSU women's basketball, as you saw yesterday. Crazy when she goes in the game or even runs to the scores table. Everybody loves Emily Ward.
I want to talk about one of your transfers who had a big day yesterday. LaDasia had 16, including 4 boards in the win, but she shot the ball great. What has she brought the program in her year here?
Well, LaDasia put on a clinic yesterday in the 3rd quarter, especially. Her footwork, her moves. She's capable of doing that every game. But the problem, not a problem, but what happens is Angel gets a lot of the shot attempts. And so LaDasia just quietly gets you a double-double, and people really, I don't want to say forget about her. Real people that watch the game, or real fans, I should say, know the value she brings to our team. But it was front and center yesterday, and so happy for her. Family in town, senior night. She's just a very soft-spoken and quiet kid, but she's had a very good senior year.
Angel Reese recorded another double-double yesterday, Coach, as she tied royalty within the program and Sylvia Fowles for the most double-doubles in a season, 27. Reese had 23 and 26 boards yesterday. I know I've asked you this a couple of times, but how difficult to be as consistent as she is in these 2 categories every time out?
Well, she has to be because, she's that talented, and, she's not selfish. She takes most shots, but it's a case of I'm not surprised, but that's not really front and center in her mind. Front and center in her mind is she just wants to win.
Mm-hmm.
And she's, loves to share the ball. When she gets doubled and triple teamed, she has no problem sharing the ball, kicking it to the backside. Sylvia Fowles, we all know, is just a legend. And Sylvia and Angel got to meet and talk at Simone Augustus statue unveiling. And Sylvia is just somebody that Angel looked up to. So was Simone. And for her to be at LSU, reaping the benefits, not just on the court, but Jordy, it's crazy what happens after our games now. We have to take police with us on the road. And last night I didn't get home till 9 o'clock because Angel and Flage and Alexis, people just line up both in the inside of the arenas, outside of the arenas, and those kids are so gracious and spend time signing autographs, taking pictures. And that's why you got 15,000 plus in the stands, because parents appreciate that. These kids are accessible. They don't run from it. They're not annoyed by it. And that's what you call great ambassadors for LSU.
The connection that you've built with the fan base in the initial 2 years, I think you've gotten a firsthand look at it over the last couple of weeks. You broke your own record yesterday with the attendance. What does that mean to you?
Well, that's a big part of recruiting. And particularly on the women's side, when you can sell your attendance to a recruit, when a recruit can see that on TV or see it in person, it's electric. It's like, wow, I want to be a part of this. For me personally, it's coming back home and seeing people that followed me in high school and followed me in college. Jordy, that's not just LSU donors and fans in that building, and students certainly are from LSU. But if you look around that arena and you knew everybody, you've got people from all over the state coming, and they're either just proud to see a winning program, or they've watched me from afar growing up. I don't care what it is. I just want them to be in that building. And I had people ask me, how do you break that record when you reconfigured the arena and have less seats in there. It's called sell standing room only. If you get in the building, you stand. You don't have a seat, but we'll get you in the building. And that's paid attendance. Let's don't make any bones about it. People, particularly on the women's side, give away all these TVs and all this technology to get people to come to their games. We're not doing that. We're not in the voucher free admission. You got to pay to get in that building, and what a crowd that was yesterday.
A Hall of Fame coach and player, and maybe a better marketer, Kim Mulkey, joining us here on the Jordy Culotta show. How important is the double round bye in the tournament? You don't play until next Friday in South Carolina.
Well, I always think it's important, but we got our rear ends handed to us in that first round by Kentucky last year. Our goal right now is to win the next game, because this staff, this program did not win a game in the SEC tournament last year. Do I think win or lose in the SEC tournament is going to affect our NCAA seed? I do not. I've said this many times. We're stuck at the 2 seed because the committee obviously is looking at the non-conference schedule and putting a lot of weight into that, more so than the net. Our net has been 3, our net has been 4, and we've yet to move up to the 1 seed, which is fine. If you're the 4th 1 seed, you're going to play eventually the first 2 seeds, so it really doesn't matter, but we sure would like to win a game in the SEC tournament and then move to the next game.
How's the schedule work until next Friday?
We're going to be off today and tomorrow. We'll go recruiting today and tomorrow, and then we will practice here. In fact, you might want to promote it. We will practice here at 10 a.m. on Wednesday, and then have a send-off after the practice.
Beautiful. From
the PMAC, and then head to Greenville, and we will practice there on Thursday and play. I think the game is 6 p.m. and we play, I don't remember exactly, maybe the winner of one game will play Georgia, and then we'll play the winner of whoever won that first game. But anyway, it's that time of year, Jordy.
Yeah. What does anything change for you during this time of year? I mean, just intensity. What is this time of year like for you, who has been through it so many times and you've been to the mountaintop? How does that?
Well, it's a fine. You have to make sure you continue to give them rest when you can, I guess. And then from there, you write it down. So the next time I see them Wednesday morning, I will go to the board and I will break this thing down in 4 segments, just like I did after the non-conference schedule. So I'll ask them to grade themselves on the conference schedule. Give yourselves a letter grade. How do you think you did? And then we'll put a big X on it and flush it. So we've been through 2 parts of our schedule. This 3rd part, I will make them understand that that's the conference tournament. While we want to win it, it's not more important than the NCAA tournament. And so then we'll start talking about the conference tournament, and then we'll flush that after it's over with. And then we'll talk about the next 6 games it takes to win a national championship and 4 to win to get to a Final Four.
Wednesday morning, 10 a.m., practice and send-off for the ladies as they'll be heading over to South Carolina for the SEC tournament. They have the double round bye, of course, finishing within the top 2, being the 2nd seed, heading to the league championship. So it's always great to catch up with the Queen. Great job yesterday. The crowd was electric. Your fellow Olympian, Tommy Calandro, sends his best from the tickets yesterday. It was a hell of an atmosphere yesterday, Coach. Thank you, and have a great week. Have a great week.
Well, you tell old Tommy I can't lift the weights like he could in his day, but tell him I respect him and tell him thank you for coming.
Yes, ma'am. We'll see you. There she is, Kim Mulkey, checking in this morning on this Monday as the Lady Tigers take care of business yesterday versus Mississippi State. Close out the regular season schedule. They will be heading to Greensville, South Carolina for the SEC basketball tournament, in which they have the double round bye. They'll leave on Wednesday. Look, we've told you before, Coach Mulkey keeps all of her practices open. So it doesn't matter if you're in the media or if you're a fan. You can walk in there and watch practice and LSU go through it. I would definitely do it if I was a young basketball impressionist, if I was wanting to be in basketball, if I was an official, if I was a coach, if I was someone around basketball who wanted to just see it at a very high level, whether it's practice plan, whether it's efficiency, whether it's drills, whether it's working one-on-ones with guards, bigs, whatever it is, their practices is as clean, as organized, and as efficient as you will find that is open. I mean, a lot of these people just by nature are closed off. They don't want anybody seeing secrets. They don't want anybody seeing game plans. They don't want to see anywhere, how they communicate with their team. All that stuff's open with LSU women's basketball. You can go to the practice and send them off on Wednesday morning. So go do that if you have some time. That'll be pretty cool for the ladies, as they deserve it. If you saw some of the social media coming out last night, and I was following on Twitter, what Coach Mulkey was talking about. I mean, they had people lined up in the corridor of the Maravich Center. What felt like 2 hours after the game. I mean,
why such a huge crowd? Just because of senior night, you think that drew more?
I think it was in an ideal spot.
Yeah.
There was nothing going on this weekend as far as entertainment was concerned. There was no competition of football and other things happening on campus.
Yeah.
The baseball team was out of town.
Plus that 5 o'clock tip-off.
5 o'clock tip-off was beautiful. And, I think she has planted in your head that if you don't have anything to do, give us a chance.
Right.
And she feels as if, you can hear in her voice, if you go, you're coming back.
You are.
She's right. Like it's electric like that. So, I mean, I know I went to 3 more games this year than I've been to in the last decade.
Yeah.
I mean, it's even for people that are on the fringe, that are kind of sitting on the outside and looking for something to do. I mean, that was my father-in-law. She was talking about Tommy Colandro. He was an Olympian in 1984 as a weightlifter, and Kim Mulkey was she was the point guard on the women's basketball team that same year. So they had a really cool relationship where they would travel the state and kind of go show their medals off, and cool. They became good friends. But that was even his first time of going to a women's game in a long time.
Really?
But I mean, he was when he called me for tickets, he was like, I mean, we got to go check this out. We got to go. We got to go see this. I mean, there's too much of a buzz about what she has going on. And like she said, if you're still looking for an opportunity, that's the cool thing about the women's tournament, is that they play the first 2 rounds of the NCAAs on campuses. And LSU is a host site again this year and will play inside the Maravich Center. Now, it won't be an LSU run game. You can't drive up with your parking pass and walk in with your season tickets, but it's an NCAA sanctioned event. But it's going to be at the Maravich Center, and you'll have a chance to watch LSU play in a postgame, in a postseason setting. So it's incredible with what she has done.
It's
and I'm not surprised, but seeing it up close, it truly is. I mean, it is. It's just so impressive. I mean, it's incredible the way that she's just built the passion back in a program that had no pulse. I mean, that was a lifeless program. I mean, it was as if it was just a formality to go through the year. I mean, nobody was paying any attention to the program. And 2 years later, to be setting attendance records in the building that date back to 81 just is look, I don't think that this is too much pressure. I predict she wins a national championship within the next 3 years.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think that to think otherwise would be foolish. I mean, when you got Michaela Williams coming in, I mean, we couldn't ask her about this weekend because it would have been illegal for her to talk about. But, I mean, Shaquille O'Neal's daughter was in town. The young 16-year-old who is...
That's so cool.
I mean, who is a baller. Mariah, I think is her name.
Yeah. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Mariah?
Maybe.
But, I mean, obviously... getting the attention from everyone. I mean, it's incredible to see, man.
Yeah,
Shout out to Coach Mulkey. Remember RMB Builders, Rhett Bourgeois and the crew, rmb-builders.com. If you're looking for a brand new home, they can custom design your dream home for you today. They can also help you out with any type of reconstruction or addition that you're looking to do around the house, or if you need some work around the office. They're commercially licensed as well over at RMB. rmb-builders.com. Rhett Bourgeois and the crew, rmb-builders.com. Get in touch with them. They're on Instagram, which is on fire right now. All of the projects are there sitting for you, waiting to take a glance at and Make your next selection. Whatever work you're looking to get caught up on, let RMB handle it for you. Follow them on Instagram. Make sure and like, share, check out what they have going on. rmb-builders.com. We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Hey, Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team. Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. Fourier Insurance Agency, established in 1946, locally can help you with any of your home, auto, commercial, contractors, life and health insurance today. Give them a call, 225-383-0682, or log online to FourierAgency.com. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha, Malik Neighbors,
Miles Frazier,
Kyron Lacy. Greg Brooks. Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team.
Make a difference.
Bet. Let's get it done.
All right, welcome back here. Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Ghost Chevrolet, live here on this Monday. Make sure and hit the like button, share button, comment button. LSU baseball going to turn around and play in Austin tomorrow night. Tigers will be home for a 3-game setter this weekend. I believe it starts with Butler on Friday, back at home for LSU baseball. Yeah, they'll play Butler Friday, 6:30. Central Connecticut will be here on Saturday, and then they'll close out with Central Connecticut on Sunday and actually play Butler on Monday night. So a 4-game series coming up this weekend for the Tigers at the box after tomorrow night at Texas in Austin for LSU, who won the Round Rock Classic over the weekend. Run differential ended up being the determining factor there, as they did fall on Saturday to Iowa. But as we said in hour one, that lineup they put out there yesterday was, that was monster mash baseball. I mean, they had nowhere to hide if you're a pitcher going up against that crew yesterday. 23 hits, 16 runs, balls flying out the park. Dylan Cruz named MVP of the tournament. So a good weekend for LSU. Looking forward to our conversation tomorrow here on the show, as we are going to welcome Bo Lowry into the studio. Lowry, of course, the head of player health and performance over at LSU for the last couple of seasons, after spending an extended amount of time with the New Orleans Saints. Was announced late last week or early last week that Sean Payton had made a move to bring him to Denver. So Lowry is going to be finishing up at LSU over the next couple of days, and we'll have a conversation with him about what's next, what he is leaving behind. I know that there were a lot of people that were very excited to add Lowry to the team a couple of years ago when he came over from New Orleans. Really shot a life much needed into the medical department over at LSU. It was a true loss for the New Orleans Saints medical team. If you saw what Sean Payton said about Lowry last week when he hired him, he said this, and I quote, "Bo Lowry is the best I've ever been around. He was a complete game changer for us in New Orleans, who reshaped how we operated in our training room and throughout our sports performance areas. We are excited to welcome Bo to the Broncos and look forward to the positive impact he will have on our team." So obviously, Lowry, who was the director of Saints in sports medicine for the Saints between 17 and 21, has made a huge impact with Peyton, and that's a big loss for LSU football. Looking forward to our conversation with Bo coming up here before he bounces to Denver, which is going to be a great place to live.
Oh my gosh, how exciting! Good for him.
It is great for him. He is a great dude too, man.
Sean Payton really hates LSU, huh?
I don't think he hates LSU. I think he hates. Now he's about to start cherry picking the Saints.
Yeah. Well, no, I just say that because
I know. I caught you as I was trying to explain.
Wait, right. Why do you say that?
Because he's taking one of their biggest assets.
Yeah. And
he didn't draft LSU players when he was with the Saints.
And then he stopped the D-line coach from coming to LSU as the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of weird.
He saved Nielsen on that.
Yeah, he did.
He was a good friend on Nielsen. He was a good friend to Nielsen on that.
Did he really save him? Because if he comes, we don't have to deal with Bo Pelini that year.
Maybe so. But you would have had to deal with Ed Ogeron.
Oh God.
And Ed Ogeron was in a time in his football life where he didn't like sharing the spotlight.
Oh yeah, true.
And if Nielsen would have come in, now Nielsen and Ogeron were father-son type relationship. Ogeron recruited him at USC, coached him at USC.
Talked to his daddy.
Yep. Wrote him a lot of records, letters of recommendation for coaching. Got him into it.
Oh, God.
But Peyton said, like behind closed doors, people were like, Ryan, do not
don't
go over there. That is a sinking ship. Ogeron is trying to bang everything with a pulse over there and has forgotten about all the football.
He's throwing a life raft.
I mean, do not do it. Don't do it, Ryan. It is career suicide. Now Nielsen's the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons.
Smart guy.
I mean,
Jordy.
It's the truth.
I mean, that was what happened.
I know.
I mean, you talk to coaches on that staff, they were like, Coach, it was
Katie,
wild.
Katie, you wouldn't be able
It was wild on that staff.
You wouldn't be able to go to the press conference if O was the coach.
No, I think that, didn't you? Didn't you go? Did we go in there while he was there? And he was. Remember that day he was walking out.
Yes,
and he was
we did.
He was like, "How's it going, Jordy?" And,
yes.
And he like kind of like looked back and he was like, "Who is that?"
We did.
Who's that with you,
Yeah,
Jordy?
he was kind of like. I mean, he kind of like looked up and he was like, "What's that, Jordy?" And he like kind of like walked out.
Jordy's like, "Don't make eye contact."
And he like double glanced. And he was like. And you could see Bonnet was like, let's go. Come on.
Hurry up.
I forgot about
Get the hell out of here.
through that. You did say don't make eye contact.
Oh,
with
God.
it.
You know, it's a problem when
O's
the guy
neck
tells the
snapped
girl,
back
"Don't
like
make
he
eye
saw
contact."
Leonard Fournette's brother. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, is that another one?
Oh, got him.
Another one.
Oh, keep it moving.
Hurry up.
Pelini was coming in for 8 o'clock meetings, flying over the railroad tracks on Skip Burtman at like 7:58. Running up the stairs. Coaches said like he'd like open the door like I get home and be like, God damn it, Pelini.
Dude was on the golf course
Take
at
his
6
shirt off
a.m.
like, I'm gonna kick your ass. People were like, Jesus Christ, man. Jesus.
I mean, when he threatened to fight the video staff, that's what I was like. This
Tried to
dude
fight the
is
video
done.
staff. Flipped the table at Kentucky.
Poor little guy.
Punching the wall at UCLA. Tell him to fire me. Woodward's like, all right, I'm going to fire you.
There's nothing else.
You're not going to make it through the rest of the year, man. I mean,
can I coach the bowl game?
Nah, man, we're going to move on. It was wild, man. It was nuts during that time.
I mean, he had a time
at LSU. He was walking up and down the hall beating the drum. Remember he beat the drum?
He's one of us.
One team. One heartbeat.
That's so weird. That's so cringy, honestly.
Boom, boom. They were like sitting in their office, like working, like what, like jumping, like God damn, what the hell is that, man?
This man's not even
It's
working.
A
He's
bass
playing
drum
the
at
drums.
7:30 in the morning. Pelini's like slamming his door down the hall because he's trying to nap. I mean, it was like, it was nuts, man. It was nuts. Panamsky running through there.
I mean, David Aranda and Joe Brady had to want to fight him.
Oh man.
It was just.
I mean, that was Brady was like, you're never coming back to this.
No, I'm not coming.
Yeah, coming back to this. Are you kidding me, man? He was like, I mean,
David
running
Aranda.
this place.
Miss him.
Yeah.
Joe Brady?
David
Or
Aranda.
Edo?
David Aranda.
No, Aranda was
killer.
out. He was just.
Aranda would lock his door.
He was
Like
great.
Aranda was like,
I bet.
where am I?
I'm about to turn the light off.
Can you
and watch
imagine
film for
when
the next
Aranda got the
17
knock on the
hours.
door from Joe Oliva and said, in my office, we're all going to watch film with the head coach? Like, what are we in, elementary school?
I bet he called
Like,
his
I got a
agent.
5-star recruit on the phone right now here. What do you mean I'm going to watch film with the AD, the guy that can't even complete a sentence? I mean, like, you got to think about how screwed up LSU football was now, man. I mean, like, this is 2 years before they're the greatest team ever assembled.
Yeah.
The athletic director sitting there watching film with the coach, OC, and the DC.
Go back. I like that play.
Hey, rewind it one click. Hey, Dave, tell me what you were thinking here. Hey, Joe, Fuck you. How about that? That's what I'm thinking. Like, get out of here, you bum. Oh, man.
Good times.
Yeah, great times.
Great times.
City Cafe. Remember City Cafe, our friends over at City Cafe, citycafebr.net, on the corner of O'Neill and George O'Neill is where you can find them, where good friends meet, where good friends go to eat. Daily lunch specials, if you want to go check them out today. Remember, Monday through Saturday, they got daily lunch specials. Then, of course, brunch on Sundays that you can pick up over at City Cafe. O'Neill and George O'Neill, they've been in business for over 100 years. Great people running that place. And Squeaky and Cody, check them out online, citycafebr.net, citycafebr.net. Didn't you throw a party over the weekend?
I did.
How was it?
Big party thrower.
You know how it was. I talked to you the next morning on the phone. Jordy is like leaving a client. Call me when you can. And I was like, oh. Like, no.
Hungover, huh? Somebody's got to be out here working while everybody else is partying.
Exactly. I'm like, what? What are you doing? It's 8:30. How have you already done this?
Look, I need you to put an email together.
I'm like, what? I can't even lift my head up. We had a great time.
What was the party celebrating?
Oh, nothing. Just friends coming over. Just a little dinner. Just hang out. Couples. No celebration.
A little fun and games.
Just had to, nobody's seen the new digs from R&B Builders yet. So
yeah, showing off.
Yeah,
huh?
showing off the new edition.
That's right. Let me take you to the third floor.
Yeah, they went all up.
Right.
Cooper was real happy. We kept busting in on his gaming.
Oh yeah,
He'd be like, one more time.
Gaming.
We're in here one more time. Then we'll get out of here.
Close the door, for God's sake.
He would like pause it and like turn around in the chair and stare at us.
All right, we'll be back and close it out here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha,
Malik Neighbors,
Miles Frazier,
Kyron Lacy,
Greg Brooks. Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team. Make a difference.
Bet. Let's get it done.
We're all from different.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. As we are live here on this Monday morning, make sure and hit that like button, share button, and comment button as we'll be closing it out here. Appreciate you being here. Remember, tomorrow morning it'll be a little bit of a shorter show, as we've got some meetings happening over here tomorrow morning. So we will have a conversation with Bo Lowry that runs tomorrow morning, which we're really looking forward to, man. As Bo, one of the great people in and around LSU. Tough loss for the LSU community and the medical team over there. But we will talk to him and air that tomorrow morning for our Tuesday show. So make sure and catch that on the Jordy Culotta Show. Also, remember on Mondays, Mic'd Up. Obviously, Mikey and Jared Mitchell doing incredible work talking baseball. Jay Johnson will be on tonight. Coach Johnson obviously breaking down the weekend of the Round Rock Classic. He had some pretty strong comments about Dylan Cruz yesterday. Coach Johnson saying that Cruz the best player he's ever coached. He's got 14 big leaguers that he's put up to the show, and said that Cruz by far, not even close, best he's coached, which is incredible to think about for a guy that's still in college baseball. Doug Thompson said, and some other people around baseball that you truly respect, that I truly respect, said that this will be Cruz's third season out of his high school graduating class, and many believe that if he would have gone to the show out of high school, by this point he would be on a big league roster. So, I mean, it's incredible to think that LSU legitimately has a big leaguer leading off and playing center field. He's from South Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like South Florida. Somewhere nice.
Like baseball, heaven, Florida.
Yeah.
Isn't he from where they have spring training?
I don't know that. He feels like it.
Oh, really?
He feels like he was
Palm
born in
Beach.
center field.
Yeah, I think
Right?
he is from
Palm Beach. Isn't that where they do spring
Yeah,
training?
kind of like it's like a Jupiter.
Yeah.
And kind of like towns like that.
Mm-hmm. So he grew up all around it.
Yeah, he was all in it. Bregman. Just like you knew at like 12, this kid's gonna be great.
Yeah.
So Jay Johnson tonight on Mic'd Up.
Grew up right outside of Orlando.
Okay.
Okay, so that's like Central Florida.
Yeah.
It's not South Florida.
Altamonte Springs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds very spring training-ish.
Yep.
It does.
All right, we appreciate you being here. Have a good Monday. Mic'd Up coming up at 6 o'clock this afternoon, as we said. Nick Diaz and Out of My League coming up today at 3 p.m. Make sure you are subscribed and ready for that show coming up. And then, of course, chopping it up with Kador, Roger Kador coming in to have his show. And then we will have Will Wade going off. We will have Will Wade and his podcast coming up today as well. So appreciate you being here. Hit that like, share button, as we will be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Stephen Miller, Hunter Fournette, leave me alone. I've told you 1,000 times about the baseball information here. All right? For God's sakes.
That's
the
what
hell
Mikey
out of
and Jared are for.
Get the hell out of the out of the chat. Sorry about that. What's he batting? What's Cruz batting?
He's been batting like second or third.
Who's leading off?
Yesterday it was Duga.
And that's why you come to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.